What's going on, YouTube? I am Jabari Showtime, and it's day 3 of quarantining, and I'm indoors for the day. I just got done working out, did a slight home workout, and not only is it day 3 of quarantine, it's NFL free agent frenzy. A lot of teams making moves, a lot of teams utilizing the franchise tag on players, and a lot of interesting things going on. A lot of trades, a lot of signings, a lot of money. And I want to know y'all thoughts on free agents. What y'all like the most? What would I like to dive into? Get set up real quick. I really wanted to talk about a little bit of everything, a little bit of everybody. But the things that, most things that stood out to me the most was the Bill O'Brien trade, trading DeAndre Hopkins to the Arizona Cardinals for not for a second rounder in David Johnson, which was terrible. One of the worst trades I ever seen in sports. And I've been alive 23 years. I've never seen anything like that. And Tom Brady going to the Buccaneers is another thing that stood out. But the Dallas Cowboys re-signing Amari Cooper. And I may need to check on this, but it's been reports that he got another offer from another team for more money. And I say that because I honestly don't believe the Dallas Cowboys want to pay Amari Cooper that much money. They're paying him $100 million for 5 years. $60 million guaranteed. That's about an average of $20 million per year. And Amari Cooper, the number 1 receiver for the Dallas Cowboys. He's a top 10 receiver in the NFL, one of the more elite wide receivers. But he's very inconsistent. Very inconsistent. And this is coming from a Cowboys fan. I love Amari Cooper. But man, sometimes Amari Cooper drops passes. One thing he's always consistent with is his route running. He's always good with his route running, but he drops passes. Sometimes on the road he doesn't show up. However, we didn't have any choice but to pay Amari Cooper. Not just because in 2018 we traded him for a 2019 first round draft pick, but because even when Amari Cooper isn't at his best or isn't contributing as much to the team in the game, he makes a difference. Because he still has to draw, the number 1 cornerback to his side. He still can draw double teams. He can still, help take that 8 man out of the box and help the running game with Ezekiel Elliott. Even a lot of people say, well, Amari Cooper, he really inconsistent. And 8 out of the 16 games he played last season were good, but every game that he didn't show up, somebody else did. whenever Amari Cooper has an off day, Michael Gallup might go for 118 and a touchdown. If Gallup is off, Randall Cobb might have caught 5 catches for 98 yards and a touchdown or something. Or Ezekiel Elliott might be running wild. Or Dak Prescott might be hitting on all cylinders, hitting several different receivers. Or it might just be a defensive game, which last year that wasn't so much the case. But that's one thing that stood out to me the most was the re-signing of Amari Cooper, how fast it was. I thought it'd be longer. I thought, you would probably have to hold out and wait. Search the market a little bit longer. That offer came from the Redskins, by the way. The Redskins offered Amari Cooper a deal that was going to pay him $22 million per year. And so what I assumed was he probably took that to the Cowboys and said, here's what the Redskins are going to offer. If you're willing to pay me at least this price, I'll take it. I would have took it too. But yeah, that thing is the one thing I really want to highlight about the Cowboys. Yeah, they let a few players go. Robert Quinn, I knew Robert Quinn wasn't going to stay. He went to Chicago, he's really going to help the Bears out. The Bears should be still one of the best top 5, if not the best defense in the league. We also let Byron Jones go. We let Byron Jones walk away, which I knew was going to happen. It's been a long time since the Dallas Cowboys have paid a cornerback top money. The last cornerback we paid top money was Brandon Carr. And Brandon Carr, to many of those in Cowboys Nation, was a bad cornerback. I don't think he was that bad. I think he was actually pretty decent. He was pretty solid. He started every game of his career. He never gets hurt. He's a good player on the field and off the field. In Dallas, when he was in Dallas, he was very, very big on community service, which he still is today. He's a Baltimore Raven now. He's still on the streak of starting every game of his career. I think after this season he's going to retire because this is his contract. He last year on his contract, but he was a pretty good cornerback. And we paid him X amount of dollars. Was he worth the money we was paying him? No. But was he a good cornerback for the Cowboys? Yes. Yeah. We also let the old veteran Jason Witten go. About time. About time he left. About time he got out of the bird's nest. But, it was just time for him to go. Time for him to move on. He's old, washed up. For so long, he was always a good tight end for the team. But it's just now he just holds no real value. Even his locker room presence, you could say, was good. I know a lot of people say, like, Jason Witten, his leadership, his character, his charisma, the way he carries himself was always just great. I mean, yeah, true it was, but according to last season, not so much, because at some point the Cowboys were just on a massive losing streak. And it's like, Jason, where's your leadership? From the time, the Thanksgiving game where, I remember after the Thanksgiving game, we lost to the Buffalo Bills. And you know, Michael Bennett, dude who just got traded from another team, was in the locker room cussing up a storm. And I remember on the sideline, Jason Witten at the Chicago Bears game on Monday night. It was a Thursday night? Monday night, Thursday night, one of them. He over there yelling and shouting when the team needs some leadership and some camaraderie. And not only that, he was getting slow, wasn't really fast, wasn't really precise with his routes, and it wasn't really doing nothing. Not that he's ever really been the most athletic tight end, but granted, it's just his presence wasn't really helping the team, and not only that, it was preventing other tight ends that the Dallas Cowboys have on their roster, preventing them from developing, if that makes any sense, like Blake Jarwin. Or Dalton Schultz. It's like, why are you signing these other guys, these younger tight ends, and drafting these guys? If you keep bringing Jason Witten back, having Jason Witten starting and playing all these snaps, you got somebody younger and athletic that can move on the sideline. Especially now that the game has evolved. You know, your best tight ends in the NFL don't block. Most of the time they don't block. You know, your Travis Kelce's don't really block. But another thing I wanted to touch up on was the DeAndre Hopkins trade to Arizona. By far, probably the worst trade I've ever seen in sports history since I've been alive. They basically traded DeAndre Hopkins away from the Texans to Arizona for some crumbs. They traded him for David Johnson and a second rounder. You could have easily got 2 first rounders for DeAndre Hopkins. Why? Because about a year ago, I would say that DeAndre Hopkins was the best wide receiver in the NFL. But today, he isn't. But I will say this, DeAndre Hopkins is still top 3, top 5. You got Michael Thomas, Julio Jones, and then him and Devontae Adams are kind of neck and neck. But you can even take him over Devontae Adams. You know, he's that good. He's that talented. It's not a time where I don't see DeAndre Hopkins not giving his full effort. You know, he runs precise routes. He's fast. Not that big, but he can catch 50-50 balls. You know, he was a security blanket for Deshaun Watson. And it's like, while your quarterback is still on his rookie contract, why are you trading away his biggest asset? His most reliable target. Perhaps the best player on the team since J.J. Watt's hurt almost every game. You know, it's just something I don't get. They have Bill O'Brien as not only the head coach, but the general manager of the team. And yes, he comes from the branch of coaches from Bill Belichick. But that doesn't make him Bill Belichick. He doesn't have the credentials as a Bill Belichick. And it's like, man, I've never seen such a worst trade in sports history. But moving on to Tom Brady. Signing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Recently, as of yesterday, Tom Brady announced early in the morning that he wasn't going to re-sign with the New England Patriots. Later on that afternoon, it was reported that he was going to sign with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Not a bad signing, not a bad destination. Actually pretty good. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a young team. They got weapons. They got receivers. They got a nice defense. They got a pretty solidified coach in Bruce Arians. But you know, look at the picture. It's not bad for Tom Brady. Do I think Tom Brady can help elevate the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Absolutely. Do I think they can win a title? Do I think he can win a title with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I do not. The NFC is way too competitive, and a lot of great defenses are in the NFC. You got the New Orleans Saints in that division. You have the Atlanta Falcons, who are kind of mediocre right now. Carolina Panthers kind of mediocre. But once you look at the teams outside of that division, you look at the NFC West, Seattle's still good. You have not the LA Rams, but not the Arizona Cardinals, but the other team, the San Francisco 49ers. The San Francisco 49ers just came off a Super Bowl. Have one of the most ferocious defenses in the National Football League. And those are just two divisions with competitive teams across the board. Then you have Dallas. Dallas won't be that bad for long. Philly's gonna be back. Philly can only get better. The New York Giants can only get better. They're still gonna be bad next season, but they can only get better. And then once you look at the NFC North, you had the Chicago Bears. You had the Minnesota Vikings, whose defense is still pretty good. Still one of the best in the business. And you have Green Bay. With that being said, not only the defenses, but the quarterback play is going to be pretty competitive, pretty tough for Tom Brady to make it out of the NFC and help catapult the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to a Super Bowl championship. It's going to be hard to see that. Well, yeah, that's all for this video, everybody. Please like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on every social media platform at Jabari Showtime. Peace.